we continue to pray for the repose of the soul of Pope Francis during these days. And he wrote this in his letter Fratelli Tutti at the end of the year 2020, reflecting on life after the pandemic. Some parts of our human family, it appears, can be readily sacrificed for the sake of others considered worthy of a carefree existence. Ultimately, persons are no longer seen as a paramount value to be cared for and respected, especially when they are poor and disabled, not yet useful, like the unborn, or no longer needed, like the elderly. We have grown indifferent to all kinds of wastefulness. And last year, during the pontificate of Pope Francis, the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith put out this document called Infinite Dignity. And within that it said this: the Church consistently reminds us that the dignity of every human being has an intrinsic character and is valid from the moment of conception until natural death. It is precisely the affirmation of such dignity that is the inalienable prerequisite for the protection of a personal and social existence, and also the necessary condition for fraternity and social friendship to be realized among all the peoples of the earth. Especially in the case of abortion, there is a widespread use of ambiguous terminology, such as interruption of pregnancy, which tends to hide abortion's true nature and to attenuate its seriousness in public opinion. Perhaps this linguistic phenomenon is in itself a symptom of an uneasiness of conscience. But no word has the power to change the reality of things. Procured abortion is the deliberate and direct killing, by whatever means it is carried out, of a human being in the initial phase of his or her existence, extending from conception to birth. So following on from that document, Infinite Dignity, we can consider it too. The use of terms like health care to cover all things, including abortion, is misleading. And now, availability of the morning after pill free of charge at chemists seems to give peace of mind. But it has the possibly unintended consequence of separating out the potential for irresponsible or even coercive behaviour and its damaging consequences. Whenever I go into a supermarket, before I can get in to get my basket or my trolley, I am approached by somebody who wishes to tell me about the charity they're collecting for, or signing me up, or telling me about a good cause. And they're good people doing good work. But they have their job to do, and they don't want anyone to get past. It's part of their job that you don't get past them without them speaking to you. Now, quite often, I'm not in a position financially to give them the regular subscription that they want people to give. So I will stop and just explain that to them, but encourage them in their work and in their good cause. I can't get past them without talking to them. They make sure of that. But do I want them to be prosecuted for being insistent on talking to me when I'm going into the supermarket? No, I don't. They're good people doing good work, and generally good people doing good things doesn't cause offence. Praying for others is less the issue of supposedly those on the receiving end of the prayer, but of a legislature that doesn't understand the issue. The language of intolerance is often levelled at us, whether as Catholics or those of a pro-life approach. But who is being intolerant? I am convinced that for all that national broadcasters claim impartiality in their reporting and news journalism, the ability for the pro-life viewpoint to be expressed and given equal airtime with a pro-choice viewpoint has all but gone. We are judged to be unreasonable and out of touch. If we are judging, it is often done with the understanding of the voiceless unborn and the compassion for those who suffer as much from the decision to abort, as well as mothers, fathers, grandparents, and eventually siblings. I shall conclude with the words of Pope Benedict XVI, spoken at the beginning of his pontificate, which have become well known in defence of the value of human life. And only where God is seen does life truly begin. Only when we meet the living God in Christ do we know what life is. We are not some casual and meaningless product of evolution. Each of us is the result of a thought of God. Each of us is willed. Each of us is loved. Each of us is necessary. There is nothing more beautiful than to be surprised by the gospel, by the encounter with Christ. There is nothing more beautiful than to know him and to speak to others of our friendship with him.